Hey everyone, Flo from OFTWOLANDS here, and today we're going to talk about the new DZO Vespid2 Cine Primes. I've recently shot a project with these lenses, and in this video I will talk about my experience with them, what I like and don't like about the new Vespid, and finally whether or not I would recommend them. I will also discuss briefly how they compare to the Arles and previous Vespids, as I'm sure it is something that a lot of you will ask. And as always, before I start, be sure to subscribe to see more videos like this one, and let's jump into it. This video is sponsored by FilmConvert. If you've been following me for a little while now, you know that I've been using DZO lenses for many years. I've actually shot some of my favorite projects with them. I've always loved their look, and I also really enjoyed the shooting experience, regardless of the camera that I was using. I started with the DZO Picta, then the Vespid Retros, and the Arles. Since I had been using the other lenses, they asked me if I was interested in testing the new version of the Vespid, and I said yes. Especially since I had an actual project lined up where I could use them and test them on properly. There are a few reasons that made me want to get these lenses. First of all, I've always loved DZO Prime Cine lenses, so I knew that there was a good chance that I would love these as well. Secondly, these are PL and cover a wide image circle, which allows me to use them on the URSA 12K LF and the Pyxis Open Gate. I also like that I have a set of 3, which allows me to cover an entire project with them. Now, full disclaimer, DZO did send me 3 of these to keep, but they do not pay me and they don't get to modify the content of this video or see it before it is published, and as always, these are my own opinions. As with all my reviews, I want to give as much information while still being genuine and show you what I like but also what I don't like after using these in an organic way. As always, when I do reviews, I prefer to use lenses to film actual content or projects and not just test footage. For these, I shot an entire project with my friend Thomas Tessier over 3 days. The goal of that shoot was to further our cinematography skills by creating different scenes centered around a talent, his car, and treat this as a spec ad or short film. It was a chance for us to create images that were quite different to what we normally do and have more contrast and character. We co-directed and DP'd the project, and we also had a small team of 3 to help us out. Feel free to check out Thomas's channel if you want to see more images from that shoot, as we also used the DZO Pavo anamorphics at the same time. This project was a great opportunity to test the lenses in a real scenario with multiple scenes with both natural and artificial lighting, as well as indoors and outdoors. We even shot some car scenes. And also we had lots of fun and we could be creative without too much pressure. Outdoors, we filmed in full daylight, in overcast lighting, but also at night time. Indoors, we created different setups thanks to the Nanlux Evoke 1200B, alongside several of my other smaller Nanlite fixtures. In terms of cameras, we filmed mostly of course on a Blackmagic URSA Cine 12K LF, but we also used the Pyxis 6K as well as the BMCC 6K for the car scenes. As always, you can find all the gear in the description below. Now let's get into the lenses. The new Vespid2 full set consists of 6 lenses. I have the 24, 50 and 105. They are manual lenses made for full-frame cameras and are all T1.9. At the moment, they only come in PL. In terms of weight, they're roughly 900 grams, and for size, here are them compared to my series Jupiters. They also have a 77mm filter thread, and they have the same size between them, which makes them easy to swap and balance. Additionally, they also feature the Cook Eye technology integration. At the time of making this video, I don't have pricing, but they should be close to the previous version at launch, which was around $1,200. You can find more and recent info on these lenses with a link in the description. Now let's talk about what I like about these lenses, but before that, here's a quick word about today's sponsor, FilmConvert. FilmConvert plays a huge part in the way that I grade my work and the overall look of the footage that I share, including everything that you see today. I've been using FilmConvert for so many years now and for pretty much all of my work, from documentary to travel and personal, as well as for my YouTube content. Essentially, FilmConvert enables you to add film color and grain to your videos. They have a selection of film stocks to choose from, and you also have Cine Unlock version so you can dial in the contrast and saturation of the stocks. But more importantly, you have real film grain. And you also have now a halation add-on and a new diffusion plugin called Hazy. I love the look of film, and using film stocks and real grain is a great way to get that aesthetic with digital cameras, and I feel it gives something special and unique to my footage. And even though all of my videos and projects are very different in terms of location, atmosphere and subject, they still have that same organic feel and aesthetic. All the footage you have seen in this video was graded using Film Convert, and for these particular scenes, as for most of my work, I used the stock KD5207. Here's a quick before and after. If you're interested in Film Convert, don't forget to check out the link in the description to get 10% off. And feel free to also check out the more in-depth videos that I made about my color grading process using Film Convert. Now let's get back into the review. Now let's talk about the things that I like about these. First of all, the image. After using these lenses in different scenarios, I can easily say that I love the image that comes from the new Vespid 2. There is something quite organic with a very pleasing texture. I've always loved the look of the previous Vespids as well as the Arles, and these seem to strike a balance between the two. From the close-ups to the wide car scenes and the nighttime shots, I was super pleased with the results. They also happen to be quite sharp, which is great for details, even at 1.9. I also like the flares, and breathing seems to be minimal. There wasn't any vignetting as well using the 24mm on both the URSA and Pyxis. Shooting open gate 3x2 really suited the project, but I feel like the Vespids were also a big part of why it works so well. It's always hard to describe why I like a certain lens or not, but I'm a big fan of the overall look of the Vespid 2. Next is the shooting experience. For me, these lenses are great to use. Firstly, because they're very well built, the bodies feel quite well made, and despite their size they have a decent weight and feel to them. I love that they are made of metal as well. They feel great in the hand, and both the aperture ring and focus ring are smooth and nice to use. They're also very small and light, which I love. This means they can be used handheld with a very minimal setup, but can also be rigged up if needed. They were great on the Ronin RS4 Pro as well, and were very easy to balance, especially when compared to the Arles, for example. Their weight and size also means we didn't need to use lens support, which made the setup simpler and lighter. On the Pyxis, it makes for a very well balanced setup. During our 3-day shoot, we kept changing cameras and lenses, and it was very easy and straightforward. They're also very usable at 1.9, and the minimum focus distance was quite good too. On a side note, the lids are pretty good too, but I wish that they were metal like the bodies. Then we have the coverage and image circle. These lenses have a large image circle and cover full-frame sensors very easily, even on the Blackmagic 12K and 6K sensors, which is of course very important for me. I've said this many times on the channel before, but having full-frame lenses means you can use them either on full-frame cameras or Super 35 cameras, for example, so they are more versatile and a better investment in my opinion. Then we have the aperture. These are pretty fast lenses and sit right between the Arles and all the Vespids, being 1.9. Having lenses that can shoot under Tier 2 is always handy. First of all because you can shoot in very low light, but also because you can isolate parts of the image and focus the viewer's eye where you want. And as I said, 1.9 was very usable. We shot very dark and moody scenes and it worked quite well. Overall, we stayed mostly between 1.9 and 4. Next we have the 77mm thread. As you know, I love lenses that have that thread size, mainly because it allows me to choose between using a VND when I want to keep the setup small and quick to use, but it also means that I can use a matte box for when I need to read things up. 77 is common and most people will already have accessories that work for that size. Also, just a quick mention, I feel like the filter thread is very smooth as well, almost like it has some sort of coating inside to get rid of that awful grinding metallic sound that you get when you try to put a filter on. Next is close focus. I really like when lenses have close focus distance, and these do. Nothing amazing, but definitely usable and very handy. Another thing that I want to talk about is consistency. I've said this many times on the channel before, but with affordable lenses you can sometimes get a slightly different color or look between lenses, but with this set I didn't notice anything different. As with the Arles, when looking at the footage I couldn't really tell sometimes which lens I was using from shot to shot. It felt like the same image with of course a different field of view and compression. And finally, value and reliability. These days we get absolutely spoiled when it comes to Cine lenses. I think the Vespid 2 offer great value, not only for the look, image versatility and consistency, but also because DZO has proven over the years that their lenses strike a great balance between reliability and affordability. So now let's talk about the things that I don't like about these lenses. Like I just mentioned, I love these lenses, so personally, there's nothing that I don't like, but this is a review and I want to be completely transparent, so there are a couple of things that I would like to mention. The first thing is the PL only option. I think PL is great and a very solid option. Personally, it suits me since my URSA 12K LF can be natively PL. But I think a lot of people would also like to have the EF version as it can be more versatile in some cases. At the time of making this video, there was only PL available, but maybe they will add EF in the future to match the previous Vespids or the Arles. Of course, you can use adapters if you have an L mount camera, for example, and I do it very often, but I thought I'd mention it. I have the C-Mod 1 and I will link it below. And the other thing, which is something that I often mention when doing lens reviews, is that I want to see longer focal length such as 135 or even 180 like the Arles to make this set properly useful for entire projects. 105 being the longer one can feel a little restricted. Now I just want to quickly mention my experience with this new VESPID2 when compared to the Arles and previous Vespids, as it is something people will ask a lot, and I was wondering the same thing as well before using them. Let's focus on the Arles first. The Arles are amazing lenses. I love their look, the build quality is incredible, and they are also VistaVision and crazy fast at T1.4. But they are also very heavy, bulky, more expensive, and in my opinion, better suited for mid to large crews. When compared to the original Vespids, these new versions are of course faster, and they also have the Cook Eye technology integration. I only use the retro version of the Vespids, and whilst I love the look, I much prefer these new ones, as I feel like they still have loads of character without being too crazy. To me, the VESPID2 are the perfect mix between the previous Vespid and the Arles, with essentially the best of both worlds. They are fast with a beautiful organic look, like the Arles, but are still very small, light and more affordable, like the original Vespids. If I had to pick between the three, I would pick the VESPID2, as I prefer the size compared to the Arles, and T1.9 is plenty enough, especially when shooting full-frame open gate. Yes, I would definitely recommend the VESPID2. The image is beautiful, they cover a large image circle, the shooting experience is great, they're easy to use and carry, and also still affordable enough for all production sizes. These are definitely lenses that I would use for every project, whether it be documentary, drama or commercial. I think DZO made great lenses and these new VESPID2 are no different. They would make a very solid set for anyone looking at a great and reliable set of full-frame glass. That's it for me for today guys, hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to subscribe. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, feel free to also check out Thomas's channel to see more footage. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Also, feel free to check out my 2 ebooks, Freelance Documentary Filmmaking and Travel Cinematography, where you can find a streamlined but comprehensive overview from pre-production all the way to marketing, built on years of my own experience shooting short documentaries and travel videos around the world. And if you are interested, I'm also doing filmmaking mentoring sessions when you can ask me anything about a wide variety of topics.